a little bit. I want to introduce you to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Allison Rivers Sampson, and she is a wellness coach, speaker, workshop leader who helps women turn workouts into play dates. I absolutely love that, just so you know that. And she is certified in plant-based nutrition from Cornell University. She's launched the first ever online vegan bakery. That's amazing. And she's award-winning vegan chef and author. She's also a NIA Black Belt instructor and mom of a lifelong vegan, Olivia, and the co-founder of the Dairy Detox. Let's welcome to the stage Allison Rivers Sampson. Thank you so much. Come on up.
Hey there, everybody. So you may have made the connection, but Olivia, the dolphin genius, my daughter. This is what happens when you raise someone vegan. They know all about animals. And I just need to say that you guys are in another country over there. It's so much warmer there than it is here. Right? The wind is amazing. Did you know that your life is your statement? Every action you take, you are making a statement. You're making a statement about what you believe in, what you care about. I want to know if what you believe in is what you're acting on. Are you in alignment with that? Can you raise your hand if you are? Do you feel completely in alignment? Awesome. If you don't feel that way yet, I hope that by the time I'm done speaking, you will feel motivated, inspired, and ready to make a change that will bring you closer into alignment with what you believe. Let's talk about dairy, shall we? I grew up across the street from a small dairy farm, and the cows, I remember looking out my window at the cows, and they were so peaceful and beautiful. And this was a small family dairy farm. And I didn't really know much about it. I kind of thought that cows they just automatically had milk in their udders, just waiting to be released like a faucet. You know, like when you turn on a faucet and the milk, the water comes out. I thought that's what cows were, that there were specific cows called milking cows. Have you ever thought that? That it just is there automatically? Well, guess what? There is one reason that cows have milk. It's the same reason any mammal has milk. It's to feed her baby. Now, I didn't really know that back then. I just knew that my mom was forcing me to drink 4 glasses of milk a day. 4 glasses! It was awful. I hated it. It tasted disgusting. And yet I felt like this is what I was supposed to do. I would be healthy. All of those ads told me that milk does a body good and that it was the natural thing and that it was wholesome. That's the thing about living in a culture that tells you what you're supposed to believe. And one of the most challenging things about milk is that it's everywhere. It's in seemingly everything until you move to a new culture. And that is what you're doing right here today. You are in the midst of a new culture. This is the beginning, the continuation, and the future. And you're creating it right now with every bite you take, every drink you have, every scoop of ice cream. And I went vegan 21 years ago. And I'll explain to you how I got there in just a minute. But I do need to tell you that if you're not yet vegan, it's time. And it could not be easier, as you can experience from all of these amazing vendors here today, that everything you could possibly want is at your fingertips. So I grew up eating the standard American diet, And my family had all kinds of health issues. I remember listening as my mom and grandmother would obsess over the latest fad diet they were trying. One day it was water pills, another day it was the liquid protein diet, and then came the most bizarre of all, the sauna suit. Has anyone ever heard of a sauna suit? Oh, one person. Okay, so after this conversation, the next day, my mom walks into the living room, crinkling as she went in this silver vinyl jumpsuit. She explained to me, this is a sauna suit, and it's gonna sweat the pounds right off my body. Oh, one thing I didn't tell you, we lived in Florida. So you could work up a sweat just sitting on the couch. So you could see how dedicated she was to this conviction. Well, to me as a teenager, I was like, you guys are crazy. Like wearing a garbage bag so that you can have the body you want. First of all, smaller doesn't mean healthier. And there has to be a better way, something that is sustainable, where you're living that. So this was back in the 90s, before, actually it was the 80s, late 80s, before we had our friend Google. So I couldn't just pull up something in the search term. I had to go to the library, and I hung out in those cubicles at the library. I clocked so many hours. The librarian and I were like this. So I checked out a mountain of books and started reading everything I could about alternative health. What I discovered was astounding. I found out that it wasn't only how much we eat, but what we eat. And this was a revelation back then because I don't know if you remember, but back then it was all about calories, calories, calories. But I was learning that what we ate made a huge difference in our health. It was surprising that this was such a revelation because I was raised by a nurse, but we all know how little the healthcare industry gets in their education about food. What's going on over there? In the nutrition world, they get very little education. So as I discovered this, I got really, really excited, grabbed my books, and ran home, slapping my flip-flops on the hot sidewalk. Florida, remember? So I burst through the back door, running in to tell my mom, Mom, you won't believe it! I found the answers! I found the answers to being healthy. And she looked at me. She gave me a moment to go through my animated descriptions. And I said at the end, I am going to be a vegetarian. Thank you. She dismissed me with a wave as she sauntered out of the room, shaking her head, saying something about crazy teenagers. Okay, so yes, teenagers can be a little bit crazy sometimes, but I was being so sane in this moment, she had no idea. You know why? I had read about this thing called vegan, right? That just seemed way too extreme. So I went along my merry way, and then something happened. Both of my grandparents died in their early 70s of heart disease and stroke. And that was the moment I decided that changing what we eat is way less extreme than dying early. So I decided to go vegan. And I made the commitment. But the problem was cheese. Oh, cheese. Have you ever said, I could never live without cheese? Who said that? I know. Thank you. I know someone here is honest. And someone else. I can't tell you how many times people have said to me, they've treated me like a saint when they find out that I'm vegan. They're like, oh, how do you live without cheese? How do you live without cheese? very easily. And now you get to try all kinds of amazing things. Has anyone been to the Miyoko's booth out here yet? Yeah, so Miyoko's cheese, y'all have it easy now. 21 years ago, we suffered. We suffered. Vegan cheese was gnarly. It was really like plastic and nothing I would call food. But now it's so easy. And we have more and more people who are being vegan, so you can create your own community and connect with each other and share recipes, share ideas, share tips. And when we create our own communities, then we change the world. So back to this health thing, my mom, she was a nurse, as I said, and struggled with her health. And she wasn't smart enough to listen to her brilliant teenager. She thought I was crazy, but really I was brilliant. And had she listened to me, her life might have gone differently. You see, what I read about how dairy is a huge source of cholesterol, saturated fat, all kinds of things that create negative impacts on our bodies. There are allergens that are incredibly inflammatory on the body, which can create things like asthma in our respiratory system, acne, eczema, arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer can be fueled by dairy. So this one change could have changed both my grandparents' lives and my mother's life. But that's not the way her story played out. Instead, when I was pregnant with my daughter, her only grandchild, my mother died. She was only 59 years old, and she had a heart attack. Had she listened to the brilliance of that teenager way back when, her story might have ended differently. But instead, it's my story that's ending differently. Because ever since then, I have dedicated my life to helping others find wellness and to helping others discover how to live in alignment with their hearts and their minds and bring their tongue along for the ride. The tongue does not decide everything. And now we get to bring them all together in a really easy way because there's so many amazing vegan foods. So the health piece of it was my entrance. I had to find my way from myself. How does this impact me personally in my life? So it didn't happen just in the health realm. What finally made it so that I could stop going back and forth, because sometimes cheese would pull me back. And what finally sealed the deal for me was, again, I did more research. I'm kind of a nerd that way. I love books. I love learning. It's the most interesting thing to me is to just keep gathering more information. So what I discovered was that my belief that cows are not impacted by dairy, that it was wrong. A lot of vegetarians think, oh, well, I'm vegetarian, so I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not killing any animals because I'm not eating their flesh. But here's the truth. Dairy hurts. It hurts our bodies, and it hurts the cows. Again, cows have milk for one reason, the same reason all mammal mothers make milk. And so in order for humans to get that milk, we have to isolate the mother and the baby. We separate them and put the baby over here in a crate, isolated from her mother or his mother, and then mama cow gets hooked up to a milking machine so that her milk is extracted. This is a painful process, and it only happens twice a day, whereas in nature, she would be milked all throughout the day. So this is tremendous pain on her body. Then, with her baby gone, cows have this extraordinarily strong maternal instinct, just like humans do. and they cry for each other when they're not together. So that dairy farm that I lived across from, one thing I remember is every so often I would hear this really, really strange sound. And I found out in my research what that sound was. It was the mother bellowing in sadness and anguish for her baby, and her baby crying back. But they couldn't see each other. And sometimes they could hear each other in the beginning as they were being separated, but then the voices would go away and they couldn't even hear each other anymore. To me, that sound, I can still hear it, and it was so heartbreaking. And the only way we can get milk is to separate them. So this milk, the mother makes for her baby, and humans steal it. That's how we get milk in our glasses, yogurt in our cups, ice cream, all of those things, unless it comes from plants. Now the babies, if the baby is a female, she is subjected to this same experience as her mother, where she, at 9 months old, is artificially inseminated so that she can become pregnant, so that she will have milk. Then she goes through 9 months of pregnancy. Sound familiar? Just like us. And then within hours after birth, they're separated. That same grief and anguish that she experienced with her mother and her mother experienced with her, she experiences with her own baby. And then if that calf is a female, she's subjected to that same cycle of heartbreak, loss, and pain over and over again. If her baby is a male, he is slaughtered at about 3 to 18 weeks as cheap veal. So most people know that veal is cruel, right? Does everybody know that veal is cruel? Yes? Yes. Well, did you know that the dairy industry and the veal industries are so impossible to disconnect that every time you eat something that has dairy in it, you're metaphorically eating a chunk of veal? So we have to see the truth. We have to open our eyes and recognize that this is bigger than what we imagine. So it's not just about how this is impacting me. That part of the alignment is, what do I want for myself? Then the next level of alignment is, what do I want for someone else? Is it in alignment with my values to cause pain and suffering to someone else? If it isn't, no problem. Go vegan. You have all kinds of choices, and they're easy choices to make. They're delicious, and they're painless for us and for the animals. There are so many reasons to ditch dairy. Another one is the environment. There's also social justice. There are issues with the workers. Do the research. Learn about this issue. And bring yourself, if you're not already, into alignment with every bite you take, every sip you drink. You are making a choice. You are making a statement. What is it? Is it the statement you want to be making? This is what I ask you to ask yourself. The amazing thing is that plants give us everything. Almond milk, coconut milk, oat milk, hazelnut milk. If you can milk it, if it's a plant and you can milk it, it's been milked. Quinoa. There's even potato milk. Has anyone tried potato milk? I've never tried that one. Now, if you want some more information about dairy and how you can take action in your own life, foods you can eat, things you can make in your own kitchen, you can go to my website, thedairydetox.com, and I have a little ebook that has 35 recipes for all kinds of homemade pantry items. There's ice cream and all kinds of milks and creamers and cheeses and all kinds of yummy things. And it's very affordable. If you want a little more support to go further, you can try the Dairy Detox program, which is a series of videos that goes through each issue around dairy and goes in more depth than I had time to do today. And you can also just write to us there, and if you have any questions, there's a little, you can write to hello@thedairydetox.com, and I will be happy to answer any of your questions. I'm out of time now, but if you have some questions, I'll be around here listening to the other amazing speakers. So feel free to stop me and ask whatever you want to know. I would be happy to share, and enjoy this amazing day, all the incredible food that's here. What an incredible gift. And create your communities. Bring people in who you want to make this change with together, because everything's better when we have support. Thank you so much.